The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how to send basic AJAX GET and POST requests from a browser and how to handle the data on Django side. So I have here a very simplified Django project. It has only one URL pattern that says that all requests to the daemon address will be handled by the AJAX handler view, and the AJAX handler view just renders to a user the index.html template as a response to his GET request. In its turn, the index.html template extends the base.html template, and there are two columns, left column and right column. Left column has only one button, this button, and an ordered list with the seconds ID. And the right column has only an ordered list with the right ID. In the base HTML template, I've attached JQuery library and my custom JavaScript file that I will use to perform AJAX requests. So nothing extraordinary here, very basic, very simple Django application. Now, let's say that an AJAX request should be sent to the server when a user clicks this green button. And I'm opening my main.js file, and here, first of all, I have to set the click handler to the button. And to identify the button element, I want to use the CSS class. Let's say it'll be btn class. I'm calling its click method that will call the function. And here I'm calling the AJAX function that gets a dictionary as an argument. And in this example, the keys of the dictionary are the following. The URL key is the URL to send the request to. I will use this localhost daemon URL, like I'm specified in urls.py file. Then the next one, the type. The type is the type of the HTTP method. I will use the get method because I want to get or to read some info from the server. Then the data. And the data is the dictionary with data I want to send to the server. For example, I want to send to the server the text of my button. This text. The key will be button text, and I am getting the button element with this keyword. This keyword already refers to the button element with the btn CSS class, and I'm calling its text method to get the text of the button. And also I want to use the success key. The success is what will happen when the server responds successfully. If the server will respond successfully, i.e. with the 200 status code, I want to change the text of the button to what the server will return me. So that'll be a function that takes as an argument a response from the Django Vue. It's a JSON object. Then I am getting the button, the same button with the btn CSS class. Then I'm calling its text method again. And now I want to pass into it a new value. Let's say that'll be the value of the seconds key of the response object. Response seconds. And that's all with the JavaScript part for now. And what will Django do? As you know, all parameters of GET requests are stored in the request object to be exactly in its GET dictionary. And the request object any Django Vue accepts as the required argument. So let's get the text of the button. I'm creating a new variable, the text variable, request object, the GET dictionary, and I am calling its GET method to get the value of the key. And in my JavaScript file, I used button text key. Let's print it. An empty string and text and again an empty string. Let's test it. F5, click. And we can see the get and get the text of the button. Okay, we got the data from the front end. And now I want to send to the front end some data from my server, from the Django Vue. And I wanted to send to the front end the time in seconds. It's so-called epoch time or Unix time. The epoch or Unix time is the time passed from the January the 1st of the 1970 in seconds. And to use it, I want to import from the time module the time function. Let's get it, the t variable, and I'm calling the time function. And my response to the client side should be JSON serializable object with a certain headers. And the easiest way to make such a response is to use the JSON response class. And I have to import it first. And the get method of my Vue will return an instance of the JSON response class with a dictionary with the seconds key. Seconds, the key, and its value will be the t variable. And also the status parameter will be 200. Let's test it. F5. And we can see that the button disappeared and we got the JSON object that the Vue returned. And to fix it in the Vue, I have to check whether the request was an AJAX request or not. I can do it with the request is AJAX method. And if it's true, then the Vue returns the JSON response object. Otherwise, the get method will just return the result of the render function, and we will render either the index.html file. As we saw, the browser gets the JSON object, and we can use it with the index.html template. And to use it in my template, in my JS file, in the success function, I can use this construction to change text of my button, and also I can use something else. I want to get an ordered list with the seconds ID. I'm calling its append method, and I want to append a list item with the number of seconds. Okay, let's test it. F5. I've got the green button, and we can see epoch time in the text of the button and with the bootstrap cards. Okay, it works. We got the AJAX GET request and we can handle it in our Vue. The next in line is the POST request. I've got a list of these cards with seconds, and I want to send a POST request to Django by clicking on a card. On this card, for example, or on this card, for example. And I want to start with my JavaScript. And here the logic is absolutely the same. First of all, I have to define the onClick handler. And the main idea on this step is to use a delegation mechanism to handle clicks on specific cards. So, firstly, I am getting the parent container of these cards. It's the UL, unordered list tag with the seconds ID. Then I'm calling its own method, And as the first argument I am defining the event I need to handle. That will be the click event. The second argument. Here I need to define a descendant element of the UL tag on which I want to process the click event. It will be its child list item element. And then what should happen when the click will occur? That will be a function. And again, I'm calling the AJAX function almost with the same parameters. Type this time will be post. Data, any data you want. Actually, I want to use the text key with this. This keyword referred to a specific list item element, and I'm getting its text. And the success key. That will be a function that will get a response from my Django Vue. And here I want to append the right unordered list with some new content. So I am getting the container with the right ID. And again, I am calling its append method. And I am appending it with some data from the Django Vue. And now the server side. This time I need here the post method. And all parameters of post requests are stored in the request object in its post dictionary. So I want to get the text of the card. So I'm calling the request object its post dictionary. I'm calling its get method, and I want to get the text key, the value of the text key. And then I want to do something with that data. Let's say the text variable will be inserted to the f string. The f string I've got, and here I want to use the card text variable. And then I'm returning an instance of the JSON response class. Data key and the result variable as the value, and status will be 200. If we try to perform the post request now, nothing will happen. F5, nothing happens because we got 403 forbidden exception. Because CSRF token missing or incorrect. The CSRF tokens are mandatory thing for performing post requests, and the simplest way to get it is to use Django's CSRF token filter in the HTML file. So inside the index.html, somewhere here, I'm using CSRF token. It's a cross-site request forgery protection, and now I need to get it. In JavaScript I can get it with the following way. I'm creating a new variable CSRF that equals, and now I need to get F5. And I need to get an input field with the name CSRF middleware token. It's an input name equals to this value, and I'm calling its val method. then in the post request in the data dictionary, and I'm using the name of this token as the key of the data dictionary, and the value of that key will be the CSRF variable. CSRF. Let's test it again. F5. And we got the result from the Django Vue. Shortly, that's all with the basics of AJAX post and get requests. If you like the video, please thumb up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.